Hey, so I had a request to do a demonstration on kale chips. So they're super easy, so I'm going to try just quickly go over it and show you how simple it is to have some delicious kale chips whenever you want to. So first off, you want to start by separating kale from the stem. The stem is really bitter and hard to chew, so just get rid of it. If you have a dog, like I do, they honestly love, at least most of them, to eat some of the kale stuff. You might not want to give it all to them, but you know, depending on the size of your dog, you give them a chunk of it to chew on. Maybe I'll find Basil later and show you how much he likes it. Alright, so I'm just kind of tearing off the leaves, kind of into bite-sized pieces or a little bit bigger. If you make them too small, they kind of just crumble and they're hard to eat. So I'm throwing them into a salad spinner because you want to make sure they're super dry, because if they're not dry, they end up kind of just steaming in the oven rather than getting crispy like chips. So it might still be good. I'm going to be using the oven today for the kale chips. That's what most people have. I do make them in my dehydrator sometimes, but it takes a lot longer and most people don't have one, so this is just as good. So some things that you can use to flavor it. I'm just going to be using some seasoning sea salt, and actually I'm going to use some smoked paprika today. It's one of my favorite things on kale chips. Kind of gives like a barbecue flavor. You can use what you like. I've used cumin before, I've used dill. And you can use like onion powder and garlic powder if that's something you like. Alright. So I didn't do the greatest job of cleaning off the stalks. You can get more off if you want, but I'm just trying to hurry for the video. So I'm going to just run quickly over here and watch these. Alright, so put it in the salad spinner. If you don't have one, maybe just lay it out on some tea towels and get as much water as possible off. You really want to get as much as you can off. Alright, so my oven is heated up. I have it at 350. I haven't looked at the recipe and I can't remember exactly how long, but when I come back after they're cooked, I'll let you know the exact amount of time. Alright, so it's pretty dry. Just going to dump the water out. And now I'm just going to throw it into either another bowl, or if you have a salad spinner, you can just use the bottom of it. I'm just going to grab some olive oil. I just need a tablespoon of that. And apparently it's a new bottle. Should have planned ahead. Alright, that was easy. So, about a tablespoon. So yeah, if you're making more, you can use a little bit more oil, but it just kind of depends on how much you have. I'm going to try get it spread out as much as you can. It'll work best if you can get a little bit on each leaf and not too much on any of them. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of my sea salt infused with fresh herbs and vegetables. Funny story about this. I always told my mom about how much I loved it, so she kept forgetting about what it was called. So it's actually called herbivore. So she really thought that it was called herbivore. So now, from now on, it's known as herbivore in my house. So just a story. Alright, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of smoked paprika on it, because I like that. Maybe oh, there we go. Okay. I usually just like to use my hands. It gets a little messy, but it happens. Alright, so just mix the oil in. Probably didn't even need quite as much as I put in here. So maybe even just start with a couple teaspoons. You really don't need much. Just get a nice crispy chip. Another thing you could add in here, if you have it and like it, you could use a little bit of nutritional yeast. Kind of gives a little cheesy flavor. Alright, so they look pretty good. Just gonna take one here and spread them out. You want to have a pretty big pan for this so you can spread them out nice and they have room to spread out and get crispy. Alright, so I'm going to throw this into the oven. When I come back to show you the end result, I'll let you know how long to put them in the oven. But first, before I go, I have a little special guest. And I'll show you how much she likes kale. What's that? Yeah. Alright, so I'll be right back. Alright, so the kale chips are done, and I now remember that cooking time, 350 degrees, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Kind of just depends on how much you have, how full your pan is. So I think mine were in there about 13 minutes. So just, you want to check, and when the edges are starting to turn just a little bit brown, let's see if you can see it. They're crispy. Yeah, that one wasn't blue. So that's the kale chips. I was gonna say, oh, one little tip. Either bring your toothbrush with you if you plan on eating them away from home, or maybe make them for supper, because I'm warning you now, when you eat kale chips, you're gonna have kale stuck in your teeth. So there's my warning. I hope you try them and love them. They're pretty much my favorite and one of the only ways I enjoy eating kale, so try them out. Have a good day.